Smiley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Friday, November 3rd. So today we do have the moon in Cancer energy, inner place of power, pretty much all day. We are going to see the moon go void, of course, at 11:28 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will be locking into Leo energy at 3:21 a.m. early Saturday morning. So we have a lot going on here today. There's 13 different aspects. 9 of them are actually going to involve the moon, but there's going to be a little bit of an underlying added pressure that we may not be able to kind of put our finger on, and just know that this is the last day that Saturn, the Lord of Karma, is going to be retrograde. Saturn will be going direct at 0 degrees 31 minutes here on Saturday. I'm going to encourage you to listen to the November energy forecast for the specific astro forecast that I have out there about Saturn going direct. And of course, you can gain a lot of insight on where Mr. Saturn is going to have the most impact on your life by downloading November's zodiac forecast. There is a lot of energy swirling. We're still very much in this eclipse energy. I've noticed that a lot of quote unquote new age spiritual people really were talking about how the eclipse energy was over coming into November, which doesn't make any freaking sense to me whatsoever. Seeing as we just had the full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus energy on October 28th, and we always sit in the current energy swirling until the next moon event, which means that eclipse season is still very much alive and well until the new moon in Scorpio, November 13th. So because of that, there's an added layer, if you will, of chaos, of craziness, of intensity. And because Saturn, the Lord of Karma, is going direct before the karmic cards of eclipse season are officially falling and being dealt to us, we are going to receive a little bit of a hint and clue, an indicator, if you will, on the new topics and themes, the new soul contracts, the new timelines that we're going to be working with as Saturn kind of goes direct and attempts to move forward, catching up to speed. So there's a lot going on. So as I previously mentioned, 13 different aspects here today, which is a relatively busy day in the cosmos. 9 of them are going to involve the moon. But before we have a moon interaction, we have the sun in Scorpio energy sitting across from totally opposing Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings. He is retrograde in Taurus energy. Of course, Scorpio and Taurus energy sit across from each other in the zodiac wheel. The sun shining a bright light in the Scorpio energy is highlighting the major change, the major transformation, the major metamorphosis taking place within us on a soul level, on a spiritual level. Of course, all of the work needs to happen in our inner realm before we're going to see it manifest in our outer realm. And because of that, we are kind of doing the shadow work. We're in the depths of the darkness. We're in the depths of the details of our programming, of our conditioning. We are looking to kind of build ourselves up. We are reestablishing our true identity. And because this opposition to Jupiter is kind of magnifying where it is that major growth, major change, major transformation is taking place, it can feel a little bit tension-filled. The area of your birth chart that Scorpio rules over, that Taurus rules over, these are the 2 areas of your life that need the most time, energy, and attention right now in order to stabilize. But because they're sitting across from each other, there's a little bit of a tension and a conflict on which particular part is going to get that time, energy first. And so there's a whole lot of inner growth going on with Jupiter being retrograde in Taurus energy and with Scorpio season. And there is a little bit of a realization on what it is that we're letting go of, what it is that we're moving on from, what it is that we're closing the door on in order to actually have the space to grow new elements, new aspects in our lives. And of course, this is a glow up. This is a grow up. We've learned a lot of tough love life lessons, essentially the hard way. And now we're integrating that into our awareness. And therefore, we are leveling up in our spiritual realm. And therefore, we are at a new new vibration and a frequency where we're able to tap into the creator energy that we haven't been able to tap into previously. And as we become more and more empowered, that creator energy is going to be easier to step into and, of course, manifest the aspects, the elements of our lives in a much shorter time frame. So this particular tension point is illuminating the areas of struggle in our lives right now that need our time, energy, and attention for the major change and transformation that absolutely has to happen before we can go ahead and start building new aspects, new elements, new opportunities in our future path. So the moon, still very much in her place of power in this Cancer energy, is going to get into the boxing ring, square off with Chiron, the wounded healer, who is retrograde in Aries energy. So this particular conflict is going to illuminate for us where it is that we feel stuck, where we feel kind of held back, where we feel restricted, where we don't feel prepared or equipped to actually boss up and make the major changes that we know that we have to make. There's an identity crisis. We're not feeling our, I'm going to say, stable selves. And because of that, there is more of an illumination on what it is that we have to kind of change, transform, what we have to grow up and grow out of, where we have to improve, where it is that we have to heal. But of course, this illumination comes out of the discomfort, the discombobulation, the uncertainty, I'm going to say, unpreparedness that our particular version of self is currently feeling, anticipating these big changes that are right around the corner. The moon is then going to trine, beautiful interaction with Mercury. Mercury, of course, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves in Scorpio energy. We get the best of both worlds with Mercury in Scorpio energy. Our intellect, our logical, practical, mental plane blends with our emotions, with our intuition. Our spidey senses are tingling. They're coming through very strong. The moon is our heart space. Mercury is our head space. Both of them in water signs, which means that there is a cleansing, there is a refreshment, rejuvenation, renewal, if you will, in our soul, in our spirit, in our emotional realm. Our heart and our head, the moon and Mercury, they're on the same page. They're in the same element. We're jiving. We are kind of being illuminated to new insights, especially with what it is that we're thinking and what it is that we are feeling. Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, who is in Virgo energy, not in her finest hour, is very analytical, very, very much trying to examine the problem areas in our heart space, what it is and who it is that isn't really making this a happy place, a safe and secure place, and therefore getting on our list to remove. Now, Venus is going to be making a not so nice interaction with the North Node in Aries. The North Node acts as a soul point, a destiny point for us to actually get on the right path to prepare ourselves for this next mission, for this next purpose, for this next quest. Because this is not the best interaction that we could possibly have, we are going to be illuminated to the struggle, to the problem areas, to the issues that are bouncing around in our heart space. Now, keep in mind, we've been building in this new identity since August 13th, when Venus had her resurrection with the sun. We have been slowly but surely trying to grow and refine what it is and who it is that almost deserves a place in our lives, because they are contributing to our overall happiness, pleasure, joy, safety, security, stability. Whoever or whatever is on the list that is no longer promoting those things, they got to go. And so what we're given here is an opportunity to see where we're feeling blocked, where we're feeling restricted, where we're feeling stuck, not able to really understand how we're going to eliminate some of these people, places, and things that obviously are not contributing to our overall growth, to our healing process, and not helping us to improve our situation and our circumstances. The moon in Cancer is going to sextile, beautiful interaction, with Uranus, the great awakener, who is retrograde in Taurus energy. What I love about this is that it's happening right after the conflict, the tension gets illuminated in our heart space between Venus and that North Node in Aries. Why I love this is because Uranus brings us an aha moment, brings us an epiphany. The moon in Cancer is very connected to our spiritual realm, to our intuition, to our inner realm of emotion, of thoughts. And because of that, there's a revelation, an aha moment popping off from sitting in the discontentment and the uncertainty of that Venus energy. And we have a revelation on what it is that we can do to open ourselves up to a new method, a new way of doing things, a new circumstance, a new path forward. So this is kind of jiving with us on what it is that we need to essentially change in our physical realm, again, Taurus energy, due to where it is that we're building ourselves up and really coming to a validation and a confirmation point within our heart space on what it is that we have to change, Cancer energy. So we further this good vibe with the moon in Cancer, going ahead and interacting in a positive way with Jupiter. So Jupiter is the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings. He is retrograde in this Taurus energy, giving us an opportunity to kind of grow up, change, transform our inner realm so that we can get very focused on what we have to build within ourselves to be willing and prepared to do the hard thing, which just happens to be the right thing, and start kind of getting rid of some of the topics, themes, some of the aspects, some of the elements, some of the people in our physical lives that are not promoting growth, not promoting happiness, not promoting safety and security. So what I love about this is that Jupiter tends to magnify whatever it is that we're thinking, whatever it is that we're feeling. And I love the fact that the moon in Cancer, who typically speaking is very, very attached to the past, very hesitant to even think about futuristic possibilities, is now in the realm of thought, where it is that we do have the opportunity to grow up, where it is that we have learned tough love life lessons that now we need to put into practice, where it is that we do have the opportunities to create new paths forward, new situations, new circumstances for us that, of course, we have already arrived at in our inner realm that would make a lot of sense, that would add more peace, that would add more safety and security and really help us to nurture ourselves back to a happy spot. So this is going to be a good illumination, feeling the feels, feeling optimistic, feeling confident on the kind of changes that in our inner realm we're still percolating on, but we're preparing ourselves to actually make. The moon is then going to go ahead and make a positive interaction with Saturn. Saturn is the Lord of Karma. He is about to go direct after being retrograde since June. So this particular energy, which I think is going to work very well for us as well, Saturn, typically speaking, brings a little bit of a reality check. He brings us back down to earth. He has us kind of thinking more logical and practical than maybe Jupiter would. Now, Saturn, being retrograde in this Pisces energy, is really helping us to kind of dissolve, dissect, deconstruct the old version of self, the old belief systems, the old ways of going about things. This is about us realizing our dreams, what's standing in between us actually chasing our dreams. And realistically, this has been a tough love life lesson in our inner realm since June on where it is that we have to boss up, be a little bit more disciplined. So many of us walking around knowing better, but not actually doing better. So this particular interaction, I think, is going to work very well for us because we have a sense of duty. We have a sense of responsibility. We have a sense of knowing where it is that we need to boss up and be better, strengthen certain areas of our lives where new, I'm going to say, amounts of willpower, determination, discipline are needed in order for us to basically build a structure, a foundation, a routine in our lives that's supporting our health and wellness. The moon in Cancer is very nurturing. We have a tendency to give the best of our energy away to nurture other people, but this is a realization on where it is that we got to kind of pump the brakes on doing that, reserve enough energy to actually be pouring into ourselves, building ourselves back up, nurturing ourselves back to a place of health and wellness. And Saturn is kind of getting our ass in gear, so to speak, on what it is that we need to concentrate on strengthening by having a new practice, having a new routine, having a new schedule, and putting forth the energy and the effort to have the discipline to actually show up for ourselves. So the moon is then going to square, get into the boxing ring with the North Node in Aries. So this is kind of like another awareness, if you will, on what we have to grow, what we have to improve, what we have to heal, what we have to do in order to get on the right path for this next chapter. Now, this is an illumination that will come from understanding where we feel blocked, where we feel held back, where we don't feel prepared, where we're not ready to make the changes that we know that we need to make. Again, it kind of puts us in a situation where we have to sit in the not so nice thoughts and feelings, where we are being fully illuminated in our lives to situations and circumstances that don't feel good to us, that we're tired of experiencing, that are preventing us from moving on and moving forward, and even more so, preventing us from actually doing the work within ourselves. So out of that awareness should come an aha moment on where it is that we need to pour more time, energy, and attention into building ourselves up in a much stronger and healthier way. The moon is then going to sextile, beautiful interaction with Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money in this Virgo energy. So what I love about this is that we're having an aha moment on where it is that we have to continue to do the work within ourselves, where we have to kind of boss up to new levels of self-love, self-worth, self-deserving, where it is that we really have to get in alignment with our heart space and bring the new values, the new priorities into the forefront of our mind space, of our heart space, and actually do whatever it is that the universe is requiring us to do in order to build a brand new foundation for us to be able to be taking care of ourselves first and foremost. Our happiness, our safety, our security is absolutely essential so that when we are gifted with the opportunity to boss up and step into our creator power, we're operating from a safe, secure part of self. The moon is then going to go ahead and trine, beautiful interaction, with Neptune, who is retrograde in his place of power in this Pisces energy. So what I love about this is that this is kind of boosting our intuition, boosting our connection with our higher self, boosting the ability to kind of download a vision and a dream for the futuristic version of ourselves. What I love about this is that there's some sort of spiritual renewal. There is a renewal of faith, of trust, of understanding why we had to go through the tougher life lessons that we've gone through, preparing us for this particular moment where we're about to basically launch ourselves in a new path, in a new direction. So this is a trine. It means that the water energies that the moon and Neptune are both in are working together to kind of clear away the heavier emotions, the gunk, if you will, and prepare us to be more in alignment with our higher selves, with the higher realms of intelligence, and really listen to our soul, to our spirit speaking to us when we're able to quiet our mind and actually hear what it is that we're being guided to pursue. Venus, she goes ahead, she sits across from, she opposes Neptune, who is retrograde in this Pisces energy. Virgo energy that Venus is in and Pisces energy, they sit across from each other in the zodiac wheel. Now, they do represent the axis of healing. The Pisces energy is working on healing the emotional and spiritual and soul realm, while the Virgo energy is focused on us healing the physical realm, the mental plane realm. This particular opposition isn't going to feel very good because, of course, when we sit across from each other in the zodiac wheel, it's like we're sitting across the table having a semi-intense conversation and confrontation about where it is that we're feeling stuck, where it is that we're not feeling so hot, not feeling so good. And it can become a little bit overwhelming, especially with the Pisces energy, because it is the escape artist of the zodiac wheel, not really willing to do what we have to do to kind of focus in on our physical realm, on our reality. The Pisces energy would prefer to just kind of bury the head in the sand and live in la la land until this particular kind of situation and confrontation sorts itself out. But what we're going to do here is we're going to realize where it is that we're at odds with ourselves, where it is that we're at odds with our own feelings, our own wants, our own needs, our own desires, in our relationship dynamics, in our money matters. We need to understand where it is that there's some dysfunction, discontentment going on in our lives, in our physical realms, that isn't making the heart space feel so happy-go-lucky. Now, this could put us in a situation where we are kind of, I'm going to say, choosing to live in delusion instead of reality, choosing to kind of lie and fib to ourselves, because if we told ourselves the actual truth, then we would have to be accountable and responsible for actually doing something about it. This can definitely apply a huge amount of pressure to the overwhelming thoughts and the overwhelming feelings that we're just not able to make sense of and articulate because of the level of confusion in which we're currently in. Venus goes ahead and she makes a not so nice aspect to Jupiter very, very shortly after. And this is going to amplify whatever it is that's coming into our awareness under that Venus and Neptune opposition. So Jupiter turns the volume all the way up on whatever it is that we're thinking and feeling. And Jupiter's retrograde in Taurus energy, Venus is in Virgo energy. This is earth on earth action here, and it's not good action. Instead, this is going to highlight for us where in our physical realm we're not so happy, not so peachy keen with the way that things are going, especially with our relationship dynamics, especially with our money matters, especially with trying to recreate the happy place that we have within ourselves in our outer realm. And so major change is going to be illuminated. Where we're feeling stuck, going to feel illuminated. Where it is that we feel restricted and held back, going to feel illuminated in order for us to have an aha moment, to make a choice, to choose what it is that we want to do in order to honor our heart space, our soul space. And we are going to basically have a realization on the areas of our lives that need the most time, energy, and attention in order to stabilize those areas so that we can get building upon it. The last thing that we have going on here today is the moon in Cancer, directly opposing and sitting across from Pluto, who of course is direct in Capricorn energy. The Cancer and Capricorn axis, they sit across from each other in the zodiac wheel, and they represent stability. They represent security. The Cancer energy wants safety, security, and stability within themselves, within their emotions, within their home life. The Capricorn energy wants safety and security and stability in finances, in career, in reputation. And so the conflict here, because Pluto, of course, is the great transformer, he's going to highlight for us where it is that we're feeling blocked, where we're feeling restricted, where we're feeling kind of heavy and weighted, where it is that the darkness is being illuminated in order for us to look for the light at the end of the tunnel. So emotionally speaking, this is going to feel very intense, and it likely will take us on a little bit of a trip down the darkest parts of memory lane in order for us to realize the opportunity to rise above those circumstances, rise above that narrative, really flip the script on how it is that we're thinking and feeling, and putting ourselves more in a boss up control role in order for us to get a grip on our inner realm, on our emotions, and on what it is that we need to destroy in order to create something new, moving forward on the path that we are about to start walking.